We are live, coming here with a brand new Stir the Pod podcast show. I'm your host, Trevor, and tonight we are joined by Alex. Alex, how you doing tonight?
Yo, yo, yo.
And we're also joined by, back from the Redemption House himself, Andy. Andy, how you doing tonight?
What up, what up? You know, just when I thought I was gone, I got a little lifeline to come on back. But we'll get into that.
Wow. Well, before we say anything about the episode, we like to say a little housekeeping. Obviously, Andy is on tonight. This is his final warning. If he doesn't show up again, if he misses another EP, he is banned. We have given him one extra life, and that's it. So now it's on video, it's recorded. Everybody knows he's agreed to the terms. TJ gave Andy a second chance. Trev and Alex can give Andy a second chance.
Just like Big T.
Big T. With that being said, episode 14 recap. Initial thoughts. This episode to me was just a shit show, I thought, personally. It was just all over the place. I had no idea. I mean, the challenge I thought sucked. I thought the ending was terrible. I think this was a horrible episode. And I'm looking at some of the comments in the chat. I think everybody's against me, but I would love to hear from y'all what you thought. So, Alex, what did you think?
I wouldn't say horrible. If I had to describe tonight's episode in one word, I would just say weird. Like, it felt like a weird episode. Obviously, when somebody goes home like that, it's just weird, but it was still, to me at least, like, entertaining. Like, it kept my interest all night. I think it was a step up from the past couple bad weeks that we've had, but not a big step up. I thought it was okay. It wasn't great. And I will just kind of put this out now about the whole Ashley situation. What I think we should do is cover what the rumors are once we get there, but then ask the chat right now if you guys have any additional insight into what the fuck happened with Ashley. Tell us in the chat, but big, massive disclaimer, we are 100% spoiler free. So if you say anything else that, is about future episodes, we'll kick you, we'll block you. So, but if you've heard about Ashley, let us know in the chat. Aside from that, I think we just we'll get to that in the recap once we get to that part of the episode. But overall, I thought it was an all right episode.
Andy, what'd you thought?
Well, before I give my thoughts, I do want to preface I am battling a ferocious cold right now. So if I go on some sort of coughing rant, as one might say, I'll try to mute myself. But just a heads up, playing through the cold, Jordan with the flu, no big deal. But I thought tonight's episode was pretty good. I would give it slightly above average. I'm very and it seems like the chat's kind of with you guys, but I didn't mind this episode at all. I thought it was pretty good. There was a lot of drama. It was all related to the game. Now, granted, us three talked about this 10 minutes in. We knew exactly what the elimination was going to be because of all the foreshadowing and the likely outcome and the likely switch team. But it was still entertaining. It was a huge twist for the game. It's going to impact the game a long time moving forward. We obviously had a twist, but I thought this was a slightly above average episode.
Well, that's why I'm worried. You said it has impacted the game, for a long time now. It's going to be an extended period of time. How many more episodes do we have?
Well, according to Amanda, the final's right around the corner. So I don't know how she's adding up the people in the house, but the final is absolutely not right around the corner.
I don't know. I feel like it's just, even though we still had a female elimination tonight and somebody went home, but it wasn't the female during the elimination, gives me a bad vibe. I don't know. I feel like it was just a waste of time.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that idea.
It was pointless.
But it shuffled the teams. It was not pointless because it shuffled the teams big time.
No, I agree. But if I'm Amanda in that situation, and we'll get into it, but do you almost go back to Ruby in that scenario? Listen, here's my theory. Why? What if the next challenge, Tori's vote me in, lose on purpose, vote me in, and I'll get Big T out of here, and then they'll just switch back. You know what I'm saying?
How's she going to get voted in? Because if green loses, then blue's going to win because Ruby doesn't stand a chance.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
If Tori can convince blue
green to throw the elimination or throw the challenge.
No, but that's what I'm saying. The power would then go to blue. So
and then she tells,
I don't see Tori being able to sway blue.
I get what you're saying. I don't know. I mean,
we'll get into that.
All right, should we just get it started? Full episode recap. Here we go. Back on the rails. First things first, and maybe another reason why tonight's episode for me wasn't good. Alex, down goes the streak. And I don't know if you saw it, but I believe Logan was almost he was about to cross the finish line. I don't know if you guys have seen that video of the two guys betting on the golfers who would hit the tee box first. That was the vibe I got in tonight's episode. Logan was about to walk in, held the door, was a very gentlemanlike move, and Ashley walking in first. Streak broken. What do you have to say?
Yeah. Trev's stream that he was watching on was a good second before mine, and so he sent in our group chat the streak is broken. So instantly, because sometimes I kind of zone out during that, but instantly I was like, all right, I got to watch for this. And I saw the outside shot, and I saw Logan's long hair going closest to the door, walking in first. So I was like, wait a second, is the streak really broken? But then they cut that very next shot of him basically pushing the door open and letting Ashley walk right through. One of the few final moments of Ashley. But yeah, so the streak is fucking broken now. I guess it's been broken twice, I think, now because of the weird format. So we'll have to start it back up again in episode 15.
Jesus Christ. I don't know how many more I got left in me, Teach. Andy, anything on the streak? I know you've been very quiet with the whole streak talk during this time.
Well, Ashley broke the streak, so let's not overlook the fact that production could have kicked her for that reason.
Good point.
Let's not overlook that. It could have been a factor. It wasn't not a factor.
God. So like we said, down goes the streak. And then kind of before the challenge, we kind of had the classic Nelly was just walking on the path, and then Devin and Kyle just smirking on the balcony, and then they put the little clip in the top right corner of him dreaming about talking to Corey and stuff, and then what was the other girl? Oh, Berna, excuse me.
Yeah,
Berna was kind of bad.
It was good. It was good when right when Nelly got to the bottom of the hill and then turned around, and Devin was like, the challenge is a metaphor. Sometimes it's downhill and sometimes life is uphill. I thought that scene was pretty good. I think they could have extended it for another minute or so.
God, I mean, just so classic though. And just another, and the funny thing is, I think Devin has been very good this season with those kind of one-liners like that.
Well, the one-liner that McCord just put in there was a great thing, too, when he was imitating Nelly. And he said, there's 3 guys to choose from, so it's a 50% chance I'm going in. What about the math quizzes?
Well, I was going to get there, but the math quizzes, what the fuck was that all about? Not even the funny part about that was on that note sheet. It literally said math quiz. It wasn't just math problems on it and you just solve them. Somebody went out of their way, made it a math quiz. I mean, are you kidding me? Are these people that bored in that house?
I think it was Amanda.
Yeah.
And for Amanda to be saying, hey, I want to see how smart you guys are. It's Amanda, you're one of the worst girls here. You're getting sent in tonight. Why do I have to prove myself to you? And then everyone helped those two, and it ruined the whole thing. It was pretty smirk though.
Well, and it was just awful timing doing the math quizzes right after Corey leaves, hours after he leaves. That was a big miss. If Corey would have been there for that, I would like to see a puzzle since we know that Amanda kind of made them. I would like to see a math quiz competition between Corey, Nelly, and Amanda's son. I think that would be hilarious.
Well, that's the thing. For Corey, I think one of the problems on there was 2,000 divided by 4 or something like that. Oh. He couldn't solve 9 times 3. How long do you think it would take?
If he sees double digits, he's checked out. Let alone like he sees force and he just like, I can't do this.
I'm almost picturing when he does math at the house, he's just like, it's like 9 times 5, let's say. And he's like looking, he's like, oh shit, I don't know how to do this. Yo, Ryder, help me out. And then Ryder's solving the problems faster than him.
God.
So you had that scene. And then kind of the biggest thing before the challenge that we had was, and I think this was another turnoff I had from this episode, was the amount of foreshadowing that happened. I vividly remember texting Alex, I believe it was at 8:17 Eastern time, saying, this is what's going to happen. This is who's going in. This is going, who's going to, the switcheroo. We guessed all 3 parts of who was going in, what was going to happen, because they literally were just showing everything. I mean, they went to Big T and said, hey, I would love to go in an elimination. I would love to go against Amanda, all that stuff, blah, 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 blah. Then they went to Amanda. Amanda's side of it was like, oh, I would vote in Tori. And then they had the whole Amanda blowing up Josh scene. Any takeaways from that?
I mean, we complain about it a lot. I think it's one of our biggest complaints from like this era of production. I think tonight was maybe the worst one we've had all season, just because it was so easy to predict. And I almost feel like it's not like I think back to the scene early on in the episode where like Amanda was talking to Josh down like by the pool or whatever. Like I'm not mad at seeing stuff like that. Like that's just 2 challengers talking game, talking about what they want to do. I think it's solely on production when they take a scene like that and then instantly put in an Amanda confessional where she says, oh, I would take Tori's spot. And then they cut to a scene at the pool and then they cut to a Tori confessional and she says, me and Amanda are always like going against each other. Like it's just all production, obviously. Like it's just so annoying. We knew that it was going to be some combination of like those 3 girls, like that was going to be the final outcome. Obviously it was. And yeah, that was definitely, I think I'm overall a little higher than you, Trev, on the episode, but that was definitely a negative for tonight.
Yeah. Andy, anything?
I'll just add, I liked Amanda's move by trying to get some dirt on Josh because she knew that he was going to pseudo say pick Tori. Like if she forced his hand, she asked such loaded questions during that conversation. And at first I was like, damn, this is actually kind of a good move for Amanda. But the way of like, she got the bullet, she tried loading it in the gun and she like put it in backwards. Like her execution in terms of like calling him out and trying to turn on him, I thought was so weak. Josh was able to shoot it down a good amount, but I thought it was a good idea.
Yeah. So going to the actual challenge itself, this challenge was sponsored by Top Gun, the movie, which has been delayed, I think, 4 times now. Happy tissues. What do we think about? I mean, Alex, I know your kind of opinion. I kind of wanted Andy's, but obviously Magic Jack with him. Why are we sticking to the Top Guns, the like bullshits of the world? Why is it still not BK?
Well, I don't know why it's not BK either. And just the fact that like they go so over the top with it. They like brought that fucking like video screen out there and said like, I'm going to have some of the top stars from Top Gun explain the rules to you. And I think it's almost like ironic how one of our other complaints about production these days is that like they overproduce things and they try to make the challenges look like movies and they try to make like everything look like so intense and like production quality and all that. And like tonight, their literal sponsor was a fucking movie. It's just so stupid. Like I can't help but see that and just roll my eyes at it.
No, exactly. And it's just like keep it simple. I mean, like the whole realistically, the whole airplane or whatever you want to call it, fighter jet thing was so pointless. So like the challenge itself, they're getting submerged in water. They have to unbutton themselves from basically eject, and they're basically getting puzzle pieces throughout the jet, and you're swimming to where you got to solve the puzzle at, and underneath the jet itself is where the puzzle key is. Again, another puzzle. This challenge.
Trev, let me add one thing before we talk about the challenge itself. I could not agree more about BK. Bring the king back. But here's one thing that also pissed me off. King's always back. So they do this, and they see like 3 no-name actors and an actress, and it's just like, okay, yeah, whatever. And then their prize is free VIP tickets to a pre-show screening. Who, even if it was 100% free, because they're not going to let them meet. Like, I think Miles Teller's in the movie. Like, they're not going to let them meet like these A-listers. So who in their right mind, even if it was 100% free, would go fly anywhere from like 2 to 10 hours potentially to go see a 2-hour movie for a remake that was like 30 years ago and then fly back? Why can't we give these people a year free of BK? If you ask people to pick one or the other, it's a no-brainer. Am I crazy?
No, the movie screening, when TJ said that, I again just like laughed. That was terrible. It made no sense. I would rather see the Troika. I'd rather see the Troika stuff their faces with burgers and fries while they decide.
Speaking of Troikas and BK and all that, can we please get Tony Raines back on the challenge? Can we? So
I love that idea, Trev. Alex says it all the time.
I don't think I've ever heard him say that, but going into the actual challenge itself, Green Team starts it off. And one thing I want to bring up is, you know how TJ normally says, oh, we've randomly selected today's order? Has Green have they gone first for the past 5 challenges? Or is that just me?
Didn't CT go first once? Wasn't CT the first person on the first team for the one where they had to go around in a circle on a platform?
Maybe they definitely went first last episode.
So that episode and then another episode. So Green Team probably goes about 2 out of 5 times. We'll call it 50%.
God.
Math with Nelly T.
God. So Green Team goes first.
I feel like Green Team just had they finally got, we kind of touched on it last week, where we wanted to see a challenge where having more people wasn't necessarily an advantage and potentially a disadvantage. I think tonight was that. And they were all I feel like individually did their jobs pretty well. It was just too many people trying to work in a small challenge together.
No, absolutely. I agree. Then Green Team goes, and like you said, it was just a complete everybody trying to step in and do whatever. Pink Team goes, and I don't even know where to begin with Pink Team. I mean, we thought Green was bad. Pink was a shit show. I mean, we literally had them not even finish. I thought Kyle had a nice little commentary where Tej was like, 2 minutes remaining. He's like, all we need is one and stuff. Just a 0% chance.
0% chance. Yeah, I would agree.
They said it was in the rules, it was a 45-minute time limit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did they?
I think it was 45 minutes. And so obviously Green did pretty poorly, but they were able to finish it. And then you get the Pink Team, the Nelson and Kyle brain trust. They have 45 minutes and they're just laughing at each other.
Why? If that really took 45 minutes, why would they not just have one person do one row left to right? Trevor takes row 1, Andy takes row 2, you take row 3, and you're just sprinting and going back and forth.
You know what I was thinking? One of the strategy things that came to my mind would be if you had 4 or 5 people, instead of trying to shout everything, couldn't you maybe do one person go under, look at the wing, and look at, let's say, just the first row, 5 things in a row, and then gather the pieces in the water and just hold them in your hand in the exact order that you need to place them on, swim back and just put them up there. Because obviously you can't solve the whole 5x5 in the water, but if you're able to break it down like that and gather all the pieces, I think the one thing that would have kind of prevented that is it seemed like all the teams kind of solved the puzzle before they were able, or started to solve the puzzle before they had all 25. So if you kind of hit a road bump there, you're screwed and you have to wait anyway. But that was just something that came to my mind.
I actually like that idea. You could just be on the wing of the plane, kind of setting them up, and then just take them there. So
yeah,
I like that
Alex
idea.
just sounds like a good old-fashioned puzzle master.
Wow. Well,
I'll carry that designation on for 10 years.
God.
Well, did anyone else see Ashley's little code name?
What was it?
It was the mastermind, right?
Yikes. So, like we said, pink team went, complete shit show. Blue team goes, and they actually have a strategy, and they solve it. And for the first time ever, blue wins. They pull out the dub. So good to see that. Anything else from this challenge that you guys want to talk about?
One last thing. So blue team did win, but this was another challenge. And ever since there was a discrepancy in the numbers, it is a huge advantage to have 6 people over 4. Like, huge advantage. If you're gathering 25 puzzle pieces, that's 4 apiece versus 6. Quick math. But like, I blue team still pulled it out, but I want, and you guys talked about on the pod without me about doing like the average across the team. I ain't mad at that. Like, do something where everyone contributes equally to the overall team success.
So you're going against what Alex said earlier, about 5 minutes ago. Because he said having 6 people would be harder than having 4 people.
I do disagree. I don't see how it would be.
Alex?
Because everyone's going to have one person at the puzzle, and then it's just a matter of one person reading it off. And then do you have 2 people getting pieces or 4 people getting pieces?
Well, Alex's point, and he can speak for himself, there's too many people.
But it doesn't hurt for anyone to just be waiting in the wings.
To like gather the pieces.
Yeah.
Well, I think this challenge tonight was more neutralized than episodes past, which is what I wanted to see. I feel like the other things we saw, there was literally sometimes no way that a team with 4 could win. And tonight we finally got to see that.
Yeah, but I don't think that was 4 versus 6. I think it was more so that the blue team had a clear leader in CT who was just controlling everything. Ashley, the mastermind. The green team didn't have any sort of leadership. Like, it was bananas. Like, Devin was trying to do stuff, and then Josh just looked like a buoy out in the water, just kind of bobbing up and down. I think I saw Bird land on his head. I mean, it was just bananas.
Johnny. Any other comments?
I would just say one last thing, because this kind of leads into I think the next part of the episode is, so blue team wins, obviously we've talked about that. And so to recap what the blue team's big, prizes are that they get out of winning is they get a private screening to a movie that they probably aren't interested in. They have to fly somewhere. They get a little clip on the screen where they all have cute little funny nicknames. They have a party which we're going to get into. TJ says it's a big party, and it's the same club scene. That was another prize of theirs. And then finally, they end up losing one of their team members. So good on blue for winning, I guess.
God, very classic. So then we go back to the house, and we're just thrown this absolute banger of a party. Top Gun theme party, right? Just amazing. Right, Alex?
Oh, just so much different from all the club scenes we've had this season.
It's like, the best part about this Top Gun theme party was they literally just put up probably 5 jets just hanging from the ceiling. They probably spent it's almost like you're at work and you forget it's someone's birthday, so you just hang up random shit because it's like a surprise party or something. Just so unnecessary. They probably just found some random shit.
They had the hats too.
Oh yes, and the glasses. Don't forget the glasses. So, I mean, just bananas, Johnny.
Well, let's think about this too. Those movie passes, they had to have been free. Like, that had to have been something they just gave the challenge. So did production spend with all of this Top Gun like $30?
I mean, at the end of the day, the number one question we should be asking ourselves: who's paying for this shit? I mean, come on. Oh, so classic. So then we go back to the club. And then we have the whole Ashley versus the world situation. Ashley's hearing some shit going on, and right?
Amanda.
Oh, sorry, that's what I meant. My bad.
The other lavender lady whose name starts with A.
Classic mix-up. Amanda versus the world. Excuse me. She confronts everybody, and all hell breaks loose. What did we think about this? Because I actually like this. I love when Amanda serves the pot and goes at it. Dot.
Why not? That's kind of where my head's at. Why not? I mean, we don't necessarily see it as much, but I'm guessing she was fairly intoxicated, especially because earlier in the episode, Josh, when they were having their little conversation, Josh was like, I don't want to talk about this because then you're going to get drunk and you're going to tell everyone. So, like, he was halfway right because she said it maybe dead sober at the deliberation. But, I mean, she probably was – Ashley was there at the time, though, wearing next to nothing.
Yeah, she was at the club.
Okay, so Ashley was at the club. So Amanda had someone in her corner. So, like, I'm sure Ashley was just like, yeah, you got to do it. You got to do it. And then Amanda just unleashed.
Well, that's the thing. It in verbal meme for everybody, it's almost like the Draymond Green talking to KD meme. You know what I'm talking about? Just hyping him up. And then you see Amanda just in the background doing that. That was the vibe I got from that.
And I think they kind of did a pretty poor job just like setting it up in terms of like what was actually going down with all of the girls, because you basically had a situation there where once the blue team wins, there's 5 girls on the table, and they're Amanda and Big T from the pink team, and then the other 3 girls from the green team, Tori, Nani, and Casey. And they showed that like one scene at the club where it was literally the other 4, like the 4 that are on the table, Tori, Casey, Nani, and Big T, all whispering, doing the Draymond Green thing. And then you have across the bar, Amanda talking to Ashley. So it was literally Amanda against the rest of the girls that were an option. And so, yeah, I mean, I agree with Andy. Like, why not? Why not try to raise some hell? You're probably going in anyway. Why not try to put them on the spot? I think the cringiest part of all of it was when the cringiest part of all of it was when Nani started going back at Amanda, and then Casey said that kind of turned her on. I mean, let's just cool it on that.
Hey,
I didn't bring that up. Oh my! That was so far back. That was not even in the back of my head. That was in one ear, out the other, and now it's back.
All right. Well, after that, we went to deliberation, and everybody's walking into the deliberation room, and where's Ashley? Ashley's just gone, MIA. Nobody knows. Well, we don't know why. They obviously knew why. So then we get into deliberation talk, and it's kind of just all over the place. People shoot it. It was more of Big T saying, hey, vote me in. Amanda was like saying, do me, whatever. And then the whole Amanda versus Josh fight kind of broke out, where Amanda basically said what Josh said. And she was telling the truth. It's not like she was lying. It's literally what Josh said. So Josh was just covering his tracks of saying he would rather run a final with her than Tori. So he basically said, hey, if you come over to here, I would want you to take Tori out of Nani or Casey. So what do we think about that? And why, again, another thing is, why does the goof have so much fucking power in this game? Like, people are looking at him like he's CT. And CT's just very calm, cool, collective, just skating by. What else is new? Meanwhile, the goof thinks he's running the show. He's like, I've never been to the final before. I think this is going to be my first time. I can feel it. I can almost taste it. I guarantee he doesn't even make the final 4. Of guys. Is that a hot take?
Well, what other guys are out there? So we got Manuel, we got Logan, CT, Nelly, Kyle.
God, that I'm not gonna lie, hand up, that's excluding CT, is one of the worst males. Like top 7, I think we've ever had. It's terrible. Who's, like, CT's up here, but then who's next? Like, if you were to, right now, who is the second best guy?
I know my answer.
I might say Logan.
I would say Kyle.
I would say Nelly.
Oh my! We have 3.
You good over there? Jesus.
So I'll go next here. I think my main 2 takeaways, and you guys can tell me if you kind of had similar thoughts or different takeaways. But my 2 takeaways, my 2 main takeaways from this deliberation scene were, and it kind of all just fueled a lot of potential LVP candidates. Not to spoil anything later on, but one thing that made me mad was just the way Devin was talking in both the deliberation and his confessionals, as if like, oh, Amanda, like, know your place. Like, why would you do this to our team? Like, you're playing selfish. Like, why the fuck do you think you're immune to anybody making moves that hurt your game when you're trying to do the opposite? Like, everybody's trying to fucking win. It's a challenge. So that was one thing. And then also, it also kind of pissed me off. They only showed this for a small part. But it was specifically the confessional where they kind of like, Amanda kind of put Josh on the spot as saying like Tori is the girl that he kind of wanted to go in or whatever. And Tori had that confessional where she's like, I'm not disposable. Like, you really think you're going to do this to me, whatever, to Josh essentially. And it's like, Tori, you're like, if you look at your team, I get it. You guys are winning, rah, rah. You guys are doing a good job. You're all close. But like, look at the other 2 girls on your team. They're literally fucking each other. Like, you think, like, of course you're low woman on the totem pole. Like, that also pissed me off because it was like she thought she was above, like, ever getting voted into. And it's like, you're fucking, this is what, your 6th, 7th season. Like, look around. Of course, if it comes down to it, like, I know you guys are doing good as a team, but if push comes to shove, you're the girl that's at the bottom here.
Absolutely. Andy, anything else?
No, I mean, we've kind of talked about this, but the back half of this episode really just made me hate everyone. Like, it really did. Everyone pissed me off aside from like a handful of people. And I hated it. I thought, I mean, Devin calling out Amanda for being selfish was one of the stupidest things he's ever said. Like, I think Devin's a smart guy, but who in their right mind would not be playing this game selfishly? And does she have any sort of alliance? No. So it's like, why are you asking her to not play selfishly if she has no numbers? It makes no sense.
Makes no sense. Another thing, and I don't know if Alex kind of touched on this already, but why does everybody feel so entitled to anything?
Because they're on Emerald.
Well,
it really is. If you're on Emerald, you think you're God's gift to the challenge.
Well, the thing
so
is,
stupid.
If you realistically, CT has more finals than all Emerald combined. And that's just a fact.
Well, that's your narrative.
He's more titles than the whole cast combined.
God. Can we also talk about, and I know we kind of stopped talking about this, and correct me if I'm wrong, stat department, has Nelson really not won a challenge in how long?
Yeah, I think it's close to like 50 challenges in a row. It's in the 40s.
Like, yeah, it's something ridiculous. His team has not won. And we're not talking about a final or anything. We're talking about like a daily challenge. He has not won in how many?
Yeah, it's like a very underrated stat. They like it kind of, first heard about it before the season where it was like, cast preview talk and all that. And it was basically like Nelly
has Boogie says. Welcome back, Boogie. We didn't give you a little shout out. You boogied on your way back to the chat. Love to see it.
But Nelly just has an incredible, historic losing streak in daily challenges. Even with the teams bouncing around, he literally now has a 1-in-3 shot every episode, and he's still just coming up short.
What do you mean? He's got a 50-50 shot, but
Same thing.
Exactly.
Should we just talk about the whole Ashley situation now?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I was going to the elimination itself. And Tej basically explains and says Ashley broke protocol or something. No idea what that means or anything. I have no idea what Ashley's situation is. I don't know, Chad, if you guys know. Alex, Andy, do you know? Because I honestly, we don't, obviously, this is a spoiler-free podcast. I had no idea, was not expecting it. Obviously, we don't know. So we'll just leave it at that.
Well, I think more stuff is probably going to start to come out now. I've seen at least 10 people on Twitter, and you can always trust people on the internet, say they're all saying the same thing, is that basically what
She's
happened.
Pregnant?
She's not pregnant.
Oh, that's what Mikey said.
No, he thought that.
Oh, okay.
She's not pregnant.
With Nelly T's baby?
Yeah, so apparently the rumor is that in the challenge, obviously after the club and sometime before deliberation, she called Josh gay, and that basically led to a lot of the cast wanting Ashley to get kicked off. We got some people in the chat confirming that right now. So, I mean, that if that is true, and I think we have no reason to believe that it's not at this point, Ashley called Josh gay and she got kicked off because of it.
I mean, why would you call anybody that? I mean, I don't know. Just a dumb move on her part. But then back in the day, I mean, you look at Ashley's past, she has said a lot of shady stuff. I mean, she literally told Corey she would buy his family. Not a smart thing to say. So I don't know. And I'll just leave it at this. Could this be the end of Ashley in the challenge? If it is something as serious as this?
It's a good question. I think my gut instinct would be no, just from the standpoint of I feel like MTV and the challenge producers clearly pick and choose, what punishments they want to give, who they want to protect and everything. And I feel like Ashley would maybe be one person that they would be willing to give another shot to.
But they don't really give anybody's, I haven't seen a second chance on the challenge in years. I mean, surely not like tonight or anything. But I don't know. Andy, anything on this? Nothing?
The chat's been saying it. There's been people kicked off for a lot worse on this show. I'm not saying this isn't bad, but it was just surprising. I hated how they announced it because it left us and the viewers to have to go to the Twitters of the world to find it out. If production's going to have the balls to do it, have the balls to say it. Who's that D? When D said all her shit, they were very proactive about it and put messaging and all that. Why not just say Ashley said a homophobic slur? We do not condone that at the challenge, and we never will. Have some balls.
But to just kind of go off of that, I do think seeing Ashley there and kicked off and say, this is the reason why. The whole D situation, I think, is completely different. How they completely shut her out for the next 10 episodes was dumb. I think that ruined a lot. I mean, she won an elimination and there was not one confession for her. They didn't even show her during the editing and stuff. So I thought they handled that completely wrong. But I agree. I think they should have done after that scene or even cut to commercial and be like, hey, put up the messaging or whatever you want to say.
Can I ask a question? And let me preface it with, I do not want this to be interpreted the wrong way. Is Josh gay?
I have no idea. I don't know. I mean, God.
I don't think he's said that he is.
I don't think he is.
I think I'm just curious.
I mean, we can have him on. Should we invite him back on another pod?
We did have him on once.
We did have him on, friend of the program.
Yeah, if you guys have not listened to that, go back and give it a listen. I mean, I completely agree with everything that's being said. If you're gonna kick people off, I literally just this season, we've now had episode 1. People forget Nam was on this season.
That's not true.
And got kicked off according to everything that we've heard because he got COVID. So it's why not just tell us that? And then apparently there was I think her name was Lauren or Laura. Was a rookie girl early on who got kicked off because she was saying racist stuff to Anissa. And they literally just did what they did tonight with Ashley and just said, oh, she's been deactivated. And then tonight they do this. If you're going to have these like progressive reasons to kick people off, then like fucking say it. Like say it, especially while the person's still there. Say like, or at least like, because you think back to what was it? X's 2, right? When Naya got kicked off for like touching Jordan's dick or whatever. Like if that would have happened in this season, we wouldn't have seen a second of that footage. We wouldn't have seen the night out or anything.
And they literally showed the clip.
Yeah, and like
replayed it.
I'm glad that they did, because we knew exactly what happened. We saw the story. We got to see, okay, like Naya crossed the line by doing this, and she got kicked off because of that. And now it's like they just show up and they're like, oh, there's 3 people in the troika or agency or whatever.
No, yeah, absolutely.
That's what happened.
Just thinking back, this is just completely off topic from where we were, but you were talking about Nam on the season and some girl named Laurel or Lauren or whatever. Sorry. Andy, remember your Survivor girl? What's she up to these days?
Who?
Michelle?
Oh, Michelle. She was bad.
She was on this season.
Oh, my God. Michelle with the eyes. Sheesh.
God, that just shows how long this season has been going for already.
And how many scrubs they had. I don't think there was a Lauren on this season. I don't buy that.
God.
And I called for Nam's head last season. I said never again.
God.
Him or that like luge or like Olympian athlete. She's played sports all her life.
Well, yeah, you always wanted Lolo Jones back. I mean, like, could we not get her back? I know you were. I mean, you were big on her.
Watch it.
So back on the rails. Elimination. Amanda, like we said, was voted in. And then she has to choose between people. Who does she choose? Big T. What else is new? So the elimination itself, what did we think about it? I mean, it was more of like, it was like picking a lock kind of thing where you're just kind of moving it around. And I think there was like 3 polls you had to get through each like pillar, and then you move up to the next level or whatever you want to call it. So did we like it? Did we not? What do we think?
I thought compared to the average elimination that we're getting these days, I kind of liked it. I thought it was interesting. I think it kind of made me think that like one of the underrated elimination genres that we've seen over the course of the challenge is climb up some sort of structure and ring a bell. And to get up to that bell, you have to do something like whether it's punch a wall or like pull out this thing and climb your way up, like something that's not just a rock climb. I think they do that a lot in just different variations. This, I think, was brand new just in terms of specifically what it was. I liked it because it was the type of thing where I always enjoy eliminations where it's anybody's game, but the better challenger on paper is usually going to prevail. But it's not just like an open and shut case. I liked it. I mean, it's the type of thing too where if you get a big lead and fall, you're kind of screwed. Like you have to be patient. You have to make your way back. So overall, not like an elimination I'm going to put on my Mount Rushmore, but I think for tonight's episode, it was pretty good.
Andy, anything?
No, I ain't mad at that. I mean, there was a somewhat puzzle aspect of this, but it was very small, which I liked. It was a nice little wrinkle mix. I mean, if you've heard this before, a mix of puzzle, endurance, and strength. But I liked how they combined them all, and I thought it was pretty good elimination.
Gotcha. So they're going through it, and kind of comfortably, Amanda wins. She pulls out the victory. Big T is sent home. Not so fast. TJ. TJ's like, you know what? I'm not feeling an elimination. Calls Big T back. And could you imagine if he wasn't like loud enough and like Big T just kept running or something?
She gets to the airport.
She's already at the airport. Yeah, exactly. So Big T gets called back. And Tej is like, yo, Big T, I'm not feeling it. You can go rejoin Pink. So Big T rejoins Pink. And Amanda decides to invade Green team. And, of course, she chooses Tori. So now Tori's on Pink. And Amanda is on Green.
So does Blue have 3?
Yes.
Wow. That's tough.
So let's go team by team then. Let's start with blue.
All right, you got the names? Blue is CT, Logan.
And Emmy?
Yes.
And nobody else?
Nobody else.
Okay. So we ended up only losing one girl tonight, Ashley.
Correct.
So
then we had the pink team, we have Nelly, we have Kyle, we have Big T, and we have Tori.
Okay.
And then we have everybody else on the other squad.
So it's basically the same green team, swap out Tori for Amanda.
Correct.
Do we think Ruby team jumped Sapphire in the power rankings? I think no.
I think blue has to be the worst with 3 people. Now you're getting into sketchy territory.
I feel like 4-on-6, you're kind of able to, hold your weight, but 3 against 6, depending on what it is, you could be screwed heavily.
Yes. God, it's 3-on-6. And I don't know if you saw previews to the next episode, but if that's 3-on-6, let's see.
Well, and that we'll get into that, and we won't say much else about it, but that's built as a 4v4 contest.
Yes.
So they're literally, not only do they not have the same, they don't even have
4v4. You mean 2v2?
2v2, yeah, you're right. Sorry. I'm still thinking about that night T quiz.
So we kind of talked about all the guys that are left. So now that means there's only 6 girls left.
Correct.
On the green team, we have Casey, Nani, Amanda. We have Emmy on the blue team, and then still Big T and Big T and Tori on pink. So this kind of, just in terms of girl favorites, I feel like Ashley getting knocked down was huge because she was one of the top 2-3 girls left. Like, I feel like now the favorite undoubtedly has to be Casey, right?
Yeah, I would say it's Casey, Tori, everybody else.
Yeah.
And then probably Emmy next, honestly. She just I don't know how she can perform during a final yet, and that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
It has nothing against her. She's been a beast this season. It's just I don't know.
Yeah, because when we're this close and you think of who could win a final from where they're at now, like you would have said going into the episode, Ashley could have won it. Casey and Tori, they both have not won a final, but they've been close enough, so they have a shot. Big T, thanks for coming out. Amanda, I would say thanks for coming out. Maybe if she gets partnered with CT for the long leg of the final or whatnot. But, yeah, I think it really is between Casey and Tori at this point. And maybe 2 girls win, 3 girls win. Who knows at this point? But I think they're definitely top 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else, or should we get in some segments?
I'm good for segments.
Good?
I'm good.
All right. Before we get into this day in challenge history, if you do follow our Twitter account, Alex has been sending out picks every Wednesday now? This is what today is, Wednesday. A nice little thing you can follow along during the episode. Just a nice little bet you can get. This tonight was another college football bet he decided to choose. The bet, I believe, was Northern Illinois and Ball State over 50 points. And what wrong?
Toledo and Bowling Green.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I read the wrong game.
Accent.
Whatever. What was it? I have no idea. I thought it was.
Well, all right. So bottom line, just follow our Twitter. We're trying to get some Stir the Pot live action going while we're recording, so we can all kind of react to it. If the bet hits, and so far we're 2-0 on the season.
There you go, 2-0, free money. All thanks to Alex.
Courtesy
all right. This day in challenge history, what do you got for us? And Boogie Brown is back, so hopefully he is up to his normal standards and can beat us like always.
All right, so Boogie's back. We got a 2-part this day in challenge history trivia question. You guys tell me how you want to play it, because I know we've been kind of bouncing back and forth in terms of you guys answering, the chat answering. Should we just say, whoever? I ask the question.
I think first person.
Okay. Whenever I see or hear a correct answer, I'll let you guys know. All right. Yeah, like you said, we have the resident challenge trivia expert Boogie back. He boogied his way on back in here. So, first part of the question, this day in challenge history, episode 6 of Cutthroat. Part 1 is name this challenger that got DQ'd on the episode because of medical reasons. Could not continue on the show because of health, medical problems.
I think I got it. Leroy?
Leroy wasn't on that season.
God, he got kicked off on the 6s of the world.
You better hurry because Boogie's coming in on the delay quick. It was a guy. It was a male on Cutthroat. It was not Ty.
Easy. No, he went home. I don't know.
He was on. There it is. There it is, Boogie. It was Chet. He was on the red team. I think he busted his face during a challenge. Nobody.
No, that was. He busted his face during Rivals 2.
Free agents.
Oh, that was free agents. Yeah, that's what I meant. The chin.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, busted his face a couple times. So that was part 1. Part 2 is on Cutthroat. This day in challenge history, this future challenge champion won her first career elimination.
No, Camilla went home early. Emily.
Yep.
Bang! Let's go.
So I think we got on tonight's scoreboard, Trev won, Boogie won, everybody else 0.
I mean, that was her first season, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the only girl I know.
Yeah, it was. I'm trying to remember who she. I think actually she beat Camilla. I think she beat Camilla in that elimination, and then on that same episode, Brandon lost to that one dude with the mohawk with the challenge podcast or whatever. They charge like $50 a month.
Don't get me started. All right.
What do you mean?
No comment. All right. We got our next segment for tonight is pot stirring. And pot stirring, we have 2 things. The first thing is All-Stars starts tomorrow, season 2.
Season 2 starts tomorrow. And apparently there was some sort of, like after tonight's episode, there was some sort of preview for EP1. Did anybody in the chat or you guys see it? I did not. After the episode ended, I was away. It was like the first what? It was like the first 3 minutes of All Stars.
Yes. And I'm more excited than this season. I'm not lying. I'm genuinely not lying. It's gonna be a headbanger. It does not. The cast is awesome. It does not feel like a reach. I mean, I'm sure these people all just want. It's all just a money grab for them and probably a money grab for MTV. But I'll go on the record on November 10th and say that All Stars 2 is going to be better than Spies, Lies, and
Allies. Wow, hot take. Alex, anything?
No, I think I'm the only one here who watched All Stars 1. It was pretty good. It was not as good as I think Adam, came on here and sucked off. But it was a good spinoff. I have, high expectations. I think, like I said before, my favorite part about it is just how fucking desperate these people are. So I'm excited for it. There's no commercials. Maybe, we'll give it the weekend. We'll all kind of watch it, see what we think, and then we'll kind of discuss what we maybe potential plans moving forward next week.
Yeah.
But just a reminder for everybody in the chat, you might as well, if you have Paramount Plus, go give it a watch when it drops tomorrow. And no spoilers for Stir the Pod Twitter, but, tweet at us, DM us, and let us know what you think.
Absolutely. The next thing for what what is it called? Pot stirring, is this little video here. Can you see right now or no?
Yes, we can see you too.
Okay, I cannot see. So, this video, oh my God, came out, and I just want you guys to see it and tell me what your guys' thoughts are.
I've been to the fucking gates of hell, and it reminded me of country hot house. Damn, that sick shit. Fucking idiots. Fucking with a Rolex on my dick, call it ice brick. Frostbite with this nice grip like an ice stick. I said quick with this dumb big juice. She said dumb big who? Fucking dumb big you. I like bad horse, flat horse, whack horse. I'ma blow the shit out the back door. They my fucking stack right up in the ass crack. Pick up on the tushy crack. Eat a booty sack. There's a Rolex on my dick. 20 bitches watching it. Spit shine up like I'm the shit. My get got a polished tip. Oh, me, mommy. She's up on my God. She's
All right, I can't watch anymore. Sorry. I mean,
That's Ed from the Circle.
that is Ed from the Circle. I mean, the real question of today is what song is better? Rolex on my dick or I'm an alien? What are we picking?
I think I'm still undecided. I want to come to a decision. I don't know if I can right now because I want to listen to them both again. They both are completely absurd and also have just very blunt and absurd titles. I mean, we're talking about. I thought I'm an alien was nuts, and now
But wait.
Rolex on my dick.
Before we say I'm an alien, could we be banned for saying that now? Is that too far?
It might be.
Like, I mean, I know Demi Lovato, I think Andy brought that up, said that was offensive to them. So I think we should say I'm a blank for Emmy from now on. So
We don't know how dicks feel about this.
Yeah, or Rolex.
God. All right. Well, we had to see that. First off, I cannot. That was my first time ever watching that. I remember seeing it, and I listened to a hot second of it. Alex sent it a few days ago. I had no. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah. I mean, if you guys also, just for you guys who follow us on Twitter, if you see something between episodes, just in Twitterverse that is like challenge related, and you want us to recap on pot stirring, just send it to us on it via DM whatnot. Because this is the type of stuff where like we just saw it on social media. The Rolex on my dick music video, and we had to recap it. So if you see shit like this, send it our way, and we'll talk about it.
Just horrible. Just so bad. God.
Does this?
I love how he's Philly born and all that stuff. And he said he's like from Conshohocken and stuff. I lived right next to Conshohocken when I lived in Philly. So
does this potentially hurt his Rookie of the Year chances?
No. Ed from the Circle is still my dude. That dude is that is corny as hell, and I'll stand by that. But what he does outside the challenge does not affect my opinion on the challenge.
The reason it doesn't affect me either is because this is like shocking, but it's not like if you were to pick anyone to make a song like this, Ed would probably be one of the, not the first maybe, but one of the like top 3, top 5 guys. Like he was on this show and he was on The Circle, I think. I don't know for sure, but the dude just wants to be famous. So like for him to make a song like this, I mean, Mr. Beautiful coined it a decade ago. People come on the challenge to become famous. Like, I ain't mad at that. They don't come on here. Ed doesn't come on here to play patty cake and like have a good time and eat some food, then see ya, a la Big T. He comes on here to have a good time, get his name out there, and now I think he's Ed from Rolex on my dick.
Jesus. Isn't he an engineer and he went to Penn?
I think he went to Cornell.
Oh, he went to Cornell? Okay.
Ever heard of it?
Like, is that like a Fezzi thing? Like he went to like Cornell, like State Tech?
God. Alrighty. So with that being said, that was pot stirring. It's our favorite segment of the night, MVP, LVP. Chat, give us the order that you guys want us to say. First response, we will take. Looks like a lot of people are saying Emmy as Rookie of the Year.
We'll get into that.
We'll get into that, and that will be in our award show.
Our award show is one of the most, I think, is the most anticipated episode of every season.
If timing works out, I think all three of us might be in person together. So, knock on wood, but that's my hope. So, my first one in my chat is Jesse Adams. Is that what yours says?
Yep.
I got Alex, Trev, Andy as the order. So, Alex, take it away, MVP.
All right, I'll go first for MVP tonight. I had my pick kind of decided about an hour of the way through, and the reasons just kind of kept adding on. So I'm actually going to go with someone that I picked as an LVP before on this season, and I have three main reasons why I'm picking this person for MVP. My MVP is going to be Avani, whatever Amanda's baby's name is. That is my MVP tonight, and my three main reasons are he got plenty of airtime. We had Amanda mention him about 6 different times, so people were talking about you, little buddy. And secondly, his mom actually won. Like, his mom, was talking about him all night and all that. And, she actually pulled through. She got to pick her own team and all that. So Amanda's a side MVP there, but his mom did well. And then last reason is that you also had potentially his, quote unquote godmother, his aunt, whatever, Ashley, being sent home. And if that's the one who's breastfeeding him now, I would be jealous of Avani. So those are my 3, potentially, 4 reasons, depending on how you look at it, of why he just had a very good night tonight. So I'm going MVP, Amanda's son.
Gotcha. Good pick. Interesting. Mine's also going to be very interesting, too. And I think it might be the first ever time that it's an MVP pick. And it's in every episode. My MVP is going to be next week on the challenge. I think this episode was bad, and I'm not saying any spoilers, so I'm not going to go heavy into my MVP pick, but I'm fired up for next week. I think the challenge next week could give us a good gut punch to say we're back. So that's my MVP next week on the challenge.
Good pick.
I like it. All right. MVP was a tough one for me. Alex kind of took a pseudo 2 MVPs by throwing Amanda as a side MVP in there. So I'll refrain from using that family. Similar to Trev, my MVP is going to be All-Star Season 2. I'm not kidding. When I watched that sneak peek, I was fired up. Fired up. Trev, how do you spell fired up?
F-U.
Thank you. I mean, it looked
no,
great.
Not exactly.
It looked great. And I'm as much as next week's going to be great, I'm genuinely very excited for tomorrow.
You guys should honestly binge the first season of that before starting All Stars 2.
Have we ever done that though?
God.
All right,
Yo,
so
Siri, Sparkner, the challenge All-Star Season 1.
I'll start us off with LVP. I'm glad I got to start this one first. My LVP is going to be production. I thought production was just miserable. Having Top Gun as the sponsor as opposed to one of the many fast food greats, to have someone get kicked off and leave us totally in the dark. And honestly, I didn't like the fact that production had a hand in bringing Big T back.
God, just name every fucking thing. I mean, good Lord.
Production did all of that.
Oh.
So I'll take production / probably 3 others. But I hated production today for all 3 of those reasons. To you, Trev.
I mean, let's just say every fucking thing. I'm still going with my pick. My LVP is participation trophies, and I think there's never a way. If somebody goes home on the challenge, they should never be brought back. And I think TJ calling her back is bullshit, and I'm just not a fan of that. And another thing I would like to say is TJ's all about no quitters and everything like that. She was damn near quitting up there. Yes, she was, oh, my little muscles, barely pulling and all that stuff. But what's the point of bringing her back? Like, there's no need to bring her back because what's going to happen? Next elimination, guess who's going home for a female elimination? Big T. Clip this highlight right now. Big T will go home next female elimination. Right now. Clip it. At 105.31 to 105.40, you can timestamp this. Big T's going home next elimination. There's no need to do it. It was pointless. Participation trophies never work. Never do it again. Alex, who you got?
My LVP for tonight, I'm going to go. I think we have a lot of honorable mentions here. But I'm going to go challenge sponsorships. It's been on like an 8-season downturn. You think back in the day and they really didn't have like sponsorships per se. It was more so like, oh, you win this challenge and you get a fucking Xbox or you get a PlayStation 3 or, oh, we got a clue on our T-Mobile sidekick. Like it was all just like small things like that. And then that shifted to like, you have to make like specific like challenges each season, like sponsored by this company. And we're going to have TJ say it 6 times an episode. And we're going to make it Burger King or we're going to make it P3 and we're going to make it these like weird things. And then tonight, I think you just hit rock bottom where when TJ said we're going to have, the cast of Top Gun, like explain the rules, I was expecting them to walk out and let us know what was happening. It's on a fucking like video screen that was probably just like green screen on there anyway. I just think they've hit rock bottom. It's sponsored by Top Gun. They wear their fucking jumpsuits during the challenge. It was embarrassing. Like, if you're going to say it's sponsored by somebody, say it's sponsored by Burger King. Bring Tony back for that 1 week. Give them the little paper crowns. Give them fries. And that's it. Everybody's happy.
Could you imagine if they were like, all right, BK is here. You'll get your prize, blah, blah, blah. But we got to bring back the king first to give you the prize. And in walks Tony Reigns.
Well, I was going to say,
on.
or next to Tony is the actual Burger King, like the little guy who like can't really move.
What?
Tony as the Burger King.
He takes the mask off.
Dancing.
Just be the biggest reveal since Darth Vader. Anything else from tonight's episode? You said you had a few honorable mentions, Alex, for LVPs?
I would say honorable mentions LVP, Tori, Devin, Ashley for getting sent home, MTV, the challenge, and then honorable mentions MVP. I don't know. Were there any honorable mentions MVP?
There were no honorable mentions.
I would also say honorable mention LVP. Trev's microwave looked like it's been broken all night. It's been flashing the timer there.
That's just classic. That's just me leaving Chipotle in last night, and it is, still on a timer. So, one last housekeeping thing, and I don't know if anybody in the chat can help us real fast. Is there an episode on November 24th? Can somebody please let us know? That's not next Wednesday, but the following. It's the day before Thanksgiving. I know for a fact me, Andy, and Alex will be together that week. So we just want to know, is there even an episode? Because if there is, there's been a lot of bananas episodes that we've done, Johnny. That could be number one. Just throwing it out there. So let's all pray there's an episode.
Yeah, it looks like, OK Squid's kind of had the names mixed up. It looks like OK Squid's looking it up. Because I feel like in years past, when it gets towards the holiday season, sometimes they either move the episodes a day or just like skip a week. Obviously, like the Wednesday wouldn't be on a holiday, but I don't know if they would want to air an episode on the day before Thanksgiving. But yeah, like Trev said, if they do on the 24th, it would just be off the rails.
That recap might get lost like last season. Yeah, that one recap last year, let's just say it was around Christmas time. We won't go there. We'll go further. So I think they skip it, Jesse Adams writes. So should we give OK Squid one more minute?
I tried going to the MTV.com schedule, and I could literally get all the way to the 23rd, and it wouldn't let me go to the 24th.
I mean,
because you click through all the episodes or like the days or whatever. How ridiculous was the schedule?
I mean, they literally need to rename it to Ridiculous, like live or not live.
Like, no disrespect to it, because I think it's so smart to see how many times it's on. Like when you see those pictures of like the week of MTV, and it's just ridiculousness, and then like the challenge, and then back. I think that's just fucking hilarious. Well, what do you think like the MTV like CEO is like thinking with that logic?
we need more ridiculousness.
How many episodes are there of that show? Do we know?
I think they're still making new ones, right?
Stop it.
I think they are. But I think
a quick Google says 758.
You're lying, Sarah.
That's what Wikipedia says.
Holy shit.
But I think if they are
yeah, you're right.
If they are skipping that week of the challenge, maybe we'll do a quick little All-Stars recap, a live in-person Mount Rushmore, something of the sort around that week. Who knows? Sorry,
one last thing about ridiculousness. It said there was an episode with Chanel and who is Sterling CCCLXX the third or 3? I have no idea. Like, ooh,
that is just
that can't be real, right? I don't know. We'll just leave it at that. I saw there might be a Mount Rushmore. Somebody said we might have something in the works with that. So.
Let us know what you guys want.
Yes, exactly. Next week, come ask questions about that, and we'll, like we said, we'll be together next Wednesday. East Wind Court, we'll be back. So, with that being said, thank you guys for listening to a brand new Stir the Pod podcast show. I've been your host, Trev. Follow us on Twitter at Stir the Pod. You can follow us on Instagram at Stir_the_pod. Thank you guys. Love you guys. Shout out Duffy. Bye-bye.